Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Coming up in the next hour. Israel strikes eastern Rafah to eliminate Hamas. The US warns that it would withhold weapons from Israel if its forces launch a major invasion of Rafah. President Vladimir Putin of Russia delivers Victory Day speech, says Moscow will do everything to avoid a clash of global powers, but will not let anyone threaten it. India surpasses Japan to become the world's third largest solar power generator in 2023. It was ranked 9th in 2015 by global energy think tank EMBA. And India's President Draupadi Murmu confers the Padma Awards. Actors Chiranjeevi and Vaijayantimala Bali received the Padma Vibhushan, the country's second highest civilian award. All right, first up, let's get you the latest on the world's largest democratic election in India. Political fervor surges across India as the country braces for the fourth phase of parliamentary election on the 13th of May. 96 constituencies spread across 10 states will be up for grabs. It includes all 25 seats of Andhra Pradesh and 17 constituencies of Telangana. Against this backdrop, key political figures are intensifying their campaign, traversing the length and breadth of the country to sway voters in their favor.
Campaigning is in full swing for the fourth phase of India's parliamentary elections to be held on the 13th of May. 96 constituencies in 10 states will go to polls. Polling will be held on all 25 seats of Andhra Pradesh and 17 constituencies of Telangana, along with other states. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath on Thursday campaigned in Lakhimpur Kheri, emphasizing the sentiment of Fir Ek Baar Modi Sarkar during a public rally.
Modi Sarkar.
He highlighted the significance of the leader who facilitated the construction of the Ram Mandir, suggesting that the people would support such leadership.
कांग्रेस के समय देश की सीमाओं में घुसपैठ होती थी, वैश्विक मंच पर भारत का सम्मान बचा नहीं रह गया था, देश के अंदर आतंकवाद नक्सलवाद सिर चढ़कर के बोल रहा था, विकास के कार्य ठप पड़ गए थे.
BJP National President JP Nadda addressed a public meeting in Chitrakoot of Uttar Pradesh and sought vote for the party. BJP leader Amit Shah held a rally in Telangana. Slamming the opposition, the senior BJP leader said that the Congress wants to fight elections by speaking lies.
ये 2024 का जो चुनाव है, ये राहुल गांधी वर्सेस नरेंद्र मोदी का चुनाव है. ये चुनाव वोट फॉर जिहाद, इसके अगेंस्ट वोट फॉर विकास का चुनाव है. ये चुनाव परिवार के कल्याण, अपने परिवार के कल्याण के विरोध देश की जनता के कल्याण का चुनाव है.
Congress General Secretary Priyanka Gandhi Vadra addressed a public meeting in Rai Bareli on Thursday. She stressed that Rai Bareli has entered a new era and the people of the constituency are once again ready for its leadership.
जो सही नेता होता है वो हमेशा अपने काम के आधार पर वोट मांगता है. वो इस आधार पर वोट मांगता है कि उसने आपके लिए क्या किया और क्या करने जा रहा है. ये सही नेता होता है.
TMC candidate from Behrampur Lok Sabha seat, Yusuf Pathan and brother Irfan Pathan, held a roadshow. Absarul Hassan's report for DD India.
Hyderabad, the capital of the Indian state of Telangana, is a melting pot of cultures and cuisines. The traditional and the modern coexist to give the city a very unique identity. The city is witnessing a keen contest as Telangana prepares to vote in the fourth phase of election on the 13th of May. Shubhendu Ghosh has more.
India's diversity is always enriched by influences from around the world. I'm having Irani chai at Charminar. They say it was brought to India by Persian immigrants. It is best enjoyed with these beautifully baked Osmania biscuits. Well, it is time for elections in Telangana. Welcome to Hyderabad. Hyderabad is a melting pot of cultures and cuisines. The heritage and the modern coexist to give the city its unique identity. Charminar has been the city centre of Hyderabad for over 400 years. As Telangana prepares to vote in the fourth phase of elections, electrifying contest is being witnessed here in Hyderabad. Four-time MP Asaduddin Owaisi of AIMIM is challenged by Madhavilata of the BJP. Congress and the BRS candidates are also in the fray.
Being a woman myself, even though it is a modernized India, still we feel oppression and we need to reach our home by 9 o'clock no matter we roam in Charminar, which is still open till 12 o'clock, but we need to be home by 12. So it's always a raging issue for the women's safety. It should be a major point to be stressed on.
गरीब क्या चाहता, देश की आवाम क्या चाहती, सबसे ज़्यादा इस देश में 80% गरीब लोग हैं. वो लोग चाहते हैं बेरोजगारी को हटाओ, महंगाई को हटाओ, रोजगार चाहते, शिक्षा नहीं मिल रही सही तरीके से गरीब को. As people brave scorching hot summers, we learn that Telangana is also bracing for a severe water crisis. We learn about the problem from Maitri Aquatech, an award-winning startup that has created a unique innovation to harvest clean potable water from thin air.
Over a period of time, the successive administration has not been able to focus on recharging the groundwater, issues which will recharge the groundwater, or even reviving the water bodies. So Hyderabad had almost close to 200 water bodies. Today, hardly a handful of them are really viable and working.
Telangana will vote on all 17 seats on May 13th. Results of the general elections will be declared on June 4th. With camera person Narayan, Shubhendu Ghosh, DD India, Hyderabad.
Andhra Pradesh will hold polling for 25 parliamentary seats and 175 seats in the state legislature on 13th May. The state has lagged in development since Telangana was carved out of Andhra Pradesh 10 years ago. Voters have been supporting regional parties such as the Telugu Desam Party and the Yuvajana Shramika Rayutu Congress Party. A regional sentiment is strong in Andhra Pradesh, so the poll arithmetic revolves around it. This time around, the ruling Yuvajana Shramika Rayutu Congress Party is going it alone against the coalition of Telugu Desam Party and the BJP-led National Democratic Alliance. Mark Lynn reports from Visakhapatnam.
The state of Andhra Pradesh goes to the polls in a single phase to elect 25 members to the Lok Sabha and 175 members to the Legislative Assembly. 2019 had seen the incumbent YSRCP sweep the polls, winning 22 of the Lok Sabha seats and 151 of the Assembly seats. Chief Minister Jagan Mohan Reddy now faces the combined strength of the Telugu Desam Party, the Bharatiya Janata Party and the Jan Sena Party. In the Lok Sabha, the NDA has a seat sharing of 17 to the TDP, 2 to the BJP and 6 to the JSP. The alliance has been campaigning hard in the state.
Now it is a straight fight between the alliance, NDA and alliance, that is TDP, JSP and BJP, and YCP.
In the outgoing assembly, the YSRCP had a huge majority of 151 seats, with nearly 50% of the vote share. The TDP, despite garnering nearly 40% vote share, were reduced to 23 seats, and the Jan Sena had one seat with just over 5.53% votes. The TDP is contesting 144 assembly seats, the JSP 21 and the BJP 10. The contest is being seen as evenly balanced between the YSRCP and NDA.
After 2014, when there was a wave of Jagan, people started believing in him, saying that he would be a young man who would do something about it. 2019 Jagan wave just swept across the state. So people thought, let's give him an opportunity.
The YSRCP is banking on the continued support of rural voters, where welfare schemes like senior citizens pension, a scheme to support mothers and another for socially and economically backward women seem to be a success. But in urban areas like Visakhapatnam, voters are looking at unemployment and the slow pace of development.
What we feel is like we should get some development in our state or the country wide, and we even need jobs which we are not getting. Like there are jobs, but are not reaching to us exactly, and the government should give the security and the standard of living should be improved for the people actually.
इसका scheme बहुत अच्छा है जगन मोहन रेड्डी का, मगर
the schemes are very good, but there are no companies, no jobs. A lot of youth is just sitting idle.
खाली बैठा है, किसी को काम धंधा नहीं है.
The value of vote cannot be calculated or sold with money, so it is evident how valuable it is.
When the public sees this as a 50-50 contest, the impact of votes garnered by smaller parties impacts the fortunes of the two major players. Clearly, the fight in Kadapa, where the Congress party has put up the sitting CM's sister, is likely to eat into the YSRCP votes. But does it benefit the TDP?
No, you can look at it in a different way. It could be like, anti-incumbency vote that Jagan had, instead of coming to TDP, might go to Congress. Okay. What was presumably earlier thought of that would come to this alliance might move to Congress now. So whether TDP would stand to gain or not is something to be watched.
The scales seem even on both sides. The 4 crore voters of Andhra Pradesh have key questions on their mind. Do they want more of the same? Are they going to go back to the past? Or is a new force emerging from within Andhra Pradesh? With cameraman Piyush Vardhan Verma, this is Mark Lin, DD India, Visakhapatnam.
Amidst election fever, the city of Indore in Madhya Pradesh has a different political story. Instead of seeking votes for candidates, a campaign is on to gather support for, take a guess, Nota. The none of the above or Nota option allows voters to reject all candidates. Amit Mukherjee reports.
This is Indore, one of the vibrant cities in the central Indian state of Madhya Pradesh. The city goes to polls on May 13, along with 7 other cities in the Malwa region located in the western part of the state. The political temperature here is undoubtedly high with the elections on, but this city has hogged the limelight for a unique political situation. The ruling political party of the state, the Bharatiya Janata Party or the BJP, does not have a political opponent for the parliamentary seat here. The only politically significant candidate, Akshay Bam, from the Indian National Congress, BJP's main political rival in the state, has withdrawn his candidature. In fact, not only has he withdrawn, he has even joined the BJP. With this, BJP does not have any significant opponent, though some smaller parties and independent candidates are in the poll fray. Now, BJP's rival Congress is crying foul, and following this, the Congress has been appealing to voters to press the Nota or none of the above option on the electronic voting machine to teach BJP a lesson.
No one will lend their support to Congress party, so people can vote whoever they want to. But we request them to press Nota.
इस परिस्थिति में आपको जिसको चाहो उसको वोट भी दे सकते हो, पर नोटा एक ऑप्शन है.
But even on this, BJP has launched counter campaign. The party is motivating people to come out in large numbers to vote and make the party win the Indore Lok Sabha seat with an overwhelming majority.
हमने विकास किया है, हम विकास के आधार.
We have developed the city, and on that basis we are fighting elections. As far as Congress is concerned, they have gone mad, and that's why they are spreading a wrong message.
वो इस प्रकार के आरोप लगा रही है. कांग्रेस को अपना घर देखना चाहिए.
Even ambush tactics have been launched against the Nota poster campaign. Autos or passenger three-wheelers with posters favouring Nota are being stopped, and the posters are being replaced with the ones countering them.
These Nota posters were stuck on our autos without letting us know. This act of Congress has really angered us. So we have removed this poster and have put up new posters urging voters to vote for the best candidates.
But interestingly, as per the election rules in India, even if Nota votes are highest in number, the candidate that gets maximum number of votes among the contenders will be declared the winner.
In Indore constituency of Madhya Pradesh, the fate of BJP might be decided by a coin with heads on both the sides. Even if Nota gathers maximum number of votes, BJP might win the seat just for a song. With camera person Anil Thakur in Indore, Amit Mukherjee for DD India.
Still to come on DD India News Hour. Russia kicks off its 79th Victory Day military parade in a show of military might and patriotism as the conflict with Ukraine rumbles on into a third year. And DD India's team of reporters get you the latest from the ground ahead of the fourth phase of the country's parliamentary election.
As India decides in the world's largest election,
We help you feel the pulse of the nation.
I am Sakal Bhatt.
I am Shubhendu Ghosh.
This election season, join us on a journey of India.
We are in Assam. This is the tea city of India.
From down south, Tamil Nadu,
Discover the colors of democracy.
gateway to northeast of India.
Coastal state of Kerala. Watch Poll Pulse on DD India.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. All right, time to bring in DD India's team of reporters covering India's parliamentary election from the ground. We have Mark Lynn at Visakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh, Akshay Dongre at Hyderabad in Telangana, and Amit Mukherjee at Indore in Madhya Pradesh. To you first, Mark. We are braving the scorching heat in Delhi, but you seem to be braving the rains there. But anyways, Andhra Pradesh will hold parliamentary and state elections. Walk us through some key battles among various political parties in the state.
Yes, indeed, Ramesh. There are 25 Lok Sabha seats and 175 assembly seats going to the polls on the 13th. And if we look at some of the key contests, then one of them is right here where I am in Visakhapatnam, where Muthu Kumali Bharat of the TDP is taking on Boccha Jhansi Lakshmi of the YSRCP. This is a seat that the YSRCP won by a margin of just 4,000 votes the last time around. And if, if we do take the combined vote share of the TDP along with the BJP and the JSP, then they actually are more than the YSRCP candidates. So it looks like the NDA alliance seems to be on the front foot as far as Visakhapatnam is concerned. Then there is Srikakulam, where again there is the TDP YSRCP battle that's right on between the two. Then there's Rajamundry, where the BJP president Purandeshwari is in the fray. And there's Tirupati as well, which is a reserved constituency, another constituency where the BJP is one of the contestants. And finally, we look at Kadapa, which is really the family bastion of the Rajshekhar Reddy family. And over here, the Congress has put up YS Sharmila, who's the sister of the Chief Minister Jagan Mohan Reddy, and she's contesting against her own cousin Avinash Reddy. And this is going to be a key contest as far as things are concerned. So these are some of the key contests to look out for. Otherwise, of course, the state is looking at some of the key issues that it needs to find development. It's still looking for a proper capital. because the capital Amravati, which was decided by the TDP, was then not quite followed through by Jagan Mohan Reddy over the last 5 years, and he wants 3 capitals, one of them being Visakhapatnam, where I am, the other being Amravati and Kurnool. So he's looking at 3 capitals. All these are issues. There is the Polavaram issue, there's the Visakhapatnam steel plant issue, there's the land title issue. There are many issues that people are on people's mind, and for which they both require to have MPs in their favor, as well as a government in the state in their favor. Back to you, Ramesh.
Right, from Andhra Pradesh, let me now hop across to the neighboring state of Telangana, where my colleague Akshay Dongre is standing by in the capital, Hyderabad. Akshay, how's the campaigning coming along in the 17 seats that will go to the polls in Telangana on the 13th of May?
Well, Ramesh, it seems that campaigning has been intensified in the past few days. Ever since the phase 3 elections got over, there were very few days before the 4th phase of elections, where all the seats of Telangana, all the 17 seats are going for polls. So it is a high-stake battle for the political parties here, at least in the state. There is a triangular contest here with the BJP, Indian National Congress, and the regional party Bharat Rashtra Samiti, the BRS, which was earlier known as the TRS. So there is intense competition going on between these 3 political parties. Prime Minister Narendra Modi was campaigning yesterday in the state. Today, Union Home Minister Amit Shah was in the state. From the Indian National Congress, Rahul Gandhi, along with the Chief Minister of Telangana, Revanth Reddy, has been campaigning from one part to another. They are trying to cover each and every constituency. The Bharat Rashtra Samiti, in fact, the Chief of BRS, K. Chandrasekhar Rao, who was the former Chief Minister of the state, he has started a bus journey from one district to another, going from constituency to constituency, trying to regain the ground that the BRS lost in the last legislative elections in 2023, where the BRS was only limited to 39 seats out of the 119 seat legislative assembly, which was a huge setback to the BRS, which also had the national ambitions. So if you have to understand the politics of Telangana in the last 15 years, then clearly ever since Telangana being the youngest state, it was carved out of the Andhra Pradesh state. Earlier, it had given some sort of advantage to regional parties that were fighting for a separate state of Telangana. However, now as the state is getting more and more ambitious, people are voting for bigger, or rather national political parties with hopes of getting more development, infrastructure projects, and so on. So as you can see, the political landscape is also changing. Regional political parties like the BRS or the AIMIM are trying to fight these political giants like the BJP and the Indian National Congress. And while the Indian National Congress will try to repeat its performance of the last year, the BJP is also trying to find a citadel in the southern part of India from where it can gain other grounds, not just here in Telangana, but other southern states as well. Back to you, Ramesh.
All right, let me now turn to Amit Mukherjee, who is in Indore, Madhya Pradesh. Amit, we saw your report there on the campaign on in the city, but give us a sense of the election campaign elsewhere in the state as well.
Very interesting dynamics coming up right now, Ramesh, because if you look at the 2019 elections, BJP almost had a clean sweep. In fact, out of the 29 parliamentary seats, BJP managed to kind of get 28, except for the Chhindwara seat, which is Kamal Nath's constituency. Now, in this particular phase, in the last phase, which is happening in Madhya Pradesh, there are 8 constituencies that are going to the polls on May 13th. Now, these 8 can be divided primarily into tribal and non-tribal categories. Now, in Madhya Pradesh right now, multiple situation is not as good as it was in 2019, primarily because of 2 things. One, there has been a low voter turnout compared to 2019. In the first 2 phases, the polling percentage on an average, it fell by almost 8%. Now, again, the other important thing is that there are new issues that have cropped up since the last assembly elections, which happened in 2023. Now, these are the factors that are playing out. But yeah, I mean, if the analyst reports are to be believed, who are working on the ground level, according to them, out of these 8, which again in 2019 were again backed by, all of them were backed by BJP. This time it looks like 6-8, which is why BJP is putting a lot of emphasis on the tribal zone right now. Zones, in fact, constituencies like Kharzoon and Khargon and Dhar. These are the areas, Ratlam. These are the tribal areas which BJP is focusing on. Of course, the non-tribal belts have been and it still are the bastion of BJP, where Ujjain, Mandsaur, all these places, Khandwa, BJP is expected to do, as it did in 2019, Ramesh.
All right, we leave it at that. Amit Mukherjee in Indore, Madhya Pradesh, Akshay Dongre in Hyderabad, Telangana, and Mark Lynn at Visakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh. Thank you all. Appreciate it. In other news, Russia kicked off its 79th Victory Day military parade on Thursday in a show of Russian military might and patriotism as the conflict with Ukraine rumbles on into a third year. The annual event on 9th May commemorates the erstwhile Soviet Union's victory over Nazi Germany in World War II. Thousands of Russian troops and pieces of military hardware paraded through the Red Square in Moscow, with other events held throughout Russia. The country's President Vladimir Putin, the commander-in-chief of the country's armed forces, inspected the parade for the 21st time as more than 9,000 people and 70 pieces of equipment were displayed. The heads of state from Kazakhstan, Laos, Guinea-Bissau, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Belarus, Turkmenistan and Cuba attended the celebration. Speaking at the parade, Putin said that Russia would do everything to prevent a conflict between global powers, but would not allow anyone to threaten it.
Russia will do everything to prevent a global conflict, but at the same time, we will not allow anyone to threaten us. Our strategic forces are always in combat readiness.
And DD India's Dasha Chernyshova has more from Moscow. Take a listen.
As Russia celebrated the 79th anniversary of the Soviet victory in the World War II, Russian President Vladimir Putin said Moscow would do everything possible to prevent a global clash, but warned that Russia's strategic forces are constantly on alert. Speaking at the military parade, he accused Western elites of forgetting the decisive role played by the Soviet Union in defeating Nazi Germany and of stoking conflicts across the world. He said that Victory Day unites all generations of Russians, and Moscow will rely on centuries-old traditions to ensure a free and secure future of Russia. He also used the opportunity to hail his forces fighting in Ukraine. About 9,000 troops, including about 1,000 who fought in Ukraine, took part in Thursday's parade. Nuclear-capable Yars intercontinental ballistic missiles were also pulled across Red Square. Following the military parade, Putin laid flowers at the tomb of the unknown soldier. He was accompanied by the leaders of 9 countries present at the parade. The Kremlin also showed the footage of Putin's meeting with the participants of the operation, in which the president said Moscow would produce more different types of modern weapons. He noted that in difficult times, the Russian people showed their best qualities, courage and heroism. Dasha Chernyshova reporting in Moscow for DD India.
Meanwhile, President Vladimir Putin of Russia agreed to withdraw his country's forces and border guards from various parts of Armenia at Yerevan's request. The announcement follows the departure of nearly 2,000 Russian peacekeepers from in and around the Nagorno-Karabakh region, which Azerbaijan claimed by force in September last year. Their exit ended a multi-year deployment that gave Moscow a military foothold in the southern Caucasus region. Armenia also asked the Russian border guards to leave their posts at the country's main airport in Yerevan from the 1st of August. Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky has said that Ukraine could stop Russian forces advancing in the east if allied countries increase the supply of arms. Zelensky made the comments at a joint news conference with the European Parliament's President Roberta Metsola in Kyiv.
We apply maximum pressure on our partners for increased weapons. If the weapon delivery is increased, we will be able to stop in the east where they have advanced, which is not a secret. We need to stop them and take over the advantage. We can only do this if we have something solid in our arms.
Still to come on DD India News Hour. An expert take on India surpassing Japan to become the world's 3rd largest solar power generator in 2023. And India becomes the first country to receive more than $100 billion in foreign remittances. And India's President Draupadi Murmu confers the Padma Awards at a glittering function in New Delhi.
How bad is climate change for us Indians? And 80% of our population lives in districts that are at risk of climate-induced disasters.
It is a concrete structure. It is a groundwater tank. So they collect the water, store it. When they go deeper after 10 feet, they used to get the saline water.
We are now at a much warmer. So the 1.2 degrees Celsius of warming means that every single heat wave is now hotter, longer and more likely.
What people need to know is when is it going to start raining? When is it going to stop? If we provide this information, people can make their plans accordingly.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. A quick recap of the headlines. Israel strikes eastern Rafah to eliminate Hamas. The US warns that it would withhold weapons from Israel if its forces launch a major invasion of Rafah. President Vladimir Putin of Russia delivers Victory Day speech, says Moscow will do everything to avoid a clash of global powers, but will not let anyone threaten it. And India's President Draupadi Murmu confers the Padma Awards. Actors Chiranjeevi and Vaijayantimala Bali received the Padma Vibhushan, the country's second highest civilian award. First up, a report by global energy think tank Ember says India has surpassed Japan to become the world's third largest solar power generator in the year 2023. More in the next report.
India has surpassed Japan globally to rank third in terms of solar power generation in 2023. Rapid expansion of solar energy has catapulted it to the third place in world rankings, according to a recent report by global energy think tank Ember. The report added that solar power contributed to 5.8% of India's total energy production last year. The increase of clean electricity is not just reducing carbon footprint, but also meeting the rising energy demand. It is also helping in decoupling economic growth from emissions, crucial for tackling climate change. India registered fourth largest increase in solar generation in 2023, only behind China, the United States and Brazil. India has been advocating adoption of renewable energy sources and championing the cause of combating climate change. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been a vocal proponent of clean energy. He was instrumental in the launch of the International Solar Alliance in 2015. It is a treaty-based alliance of countries between the tropics that are rich in solar resources. The goals of ISA is creating a leadership role in climate action and mobilizing $1 trillion by 2030 for affordable solar energy.
All right, let me pull up some graphics for you that will help you understand India's achievements over the years. Take a look. India is the third largest energy consuming country in the world. Solar energy contributes 5.5% globally. India's production has increased significantly since 2015. India has jumped remarkably from the 9th place in 2015. It now stands fourth in renewable energy installed capacity, fourth also in wind power capacity, and fifth in solar power capacity. Highest year-on-year growth in renewable energy additions of 9.83% in the year 2022. And installed solar energy capacity increased 30 times in the last 9 years. Solar energy capacity stands at 81.81 gigawatts in March 2024. Solar energy potential estimated to be 748 gigawatt per hour, according to the National Institute of Solar Energy. And last but not the least, the installed renewable energy capacity increased by 128% since the year 2014. And to talk more on this, I'm joined by Mr. Ranjit Gupta, who joins us from New Delhi. Mr. Gupta is the CEO of Oceor Energy. Mr. Gupta, welcome to DD India. First, did I pronounce the name correctly of the company, Oceor Energy? Oceor. Okay, I stand corrected. Now, Mr. Gupta, to begin with, how would you describe India's journey from the 9th to the 3rd largest solar power generator in the world?
So, for someone who has been in the renewable energy sector for the last 14 years and in the power sector for the last 20 years, the rise of India over the last 10 years in this renewable energy sector has been nothing short of spectacular.
Indeed.
And I mean, what we have achieved, and I know this for sure because, when I joined this industry about 14 years back, when me and my partner, we started our first renewable energy venture. At that time, we had thought that if ever we were able to get our company up to 300 megawatts of renewable energy capacity, we would be the kings of the world, right? And today, the small projects being done are 300 megawatts. So that is the journey that is so spectacular, that when one had the ambition that the whole company would do 300, now there are tens of companies doing 300 megawatt projects by themselves.
Now, Mr. Gupta, you run a private company. You're the CEO of Oceor Energy. I have to ask you this. Is there scope for more public-private partnership in this area in India and elsewhere?
So, to some extent, there is a need. And that need is less when it comes to, renewable energy in the traditional sense, as in solar and wind.
Okay.
More in terms of, the larger decarbonization journey that India has embarked on. For example, green hydrogen, green ammonia. There, I believe that there is, more important to have collaboration between public and private sector. But do remember that the collaboration is always there because, most of the energy that we produce, whether it is solar, whether it is wind, whether it is hydro, is all bought by state distribution companies. Right? So in a sense, unless and until the public sector buys power from us on a long-term power purchase agreement, we really can't build up projects very, very cheaply. Right? If tomorrow we were supposed to sell everything in the exchange or something of that sort, that would not really help reduce the price of electricity. So therefore, the collaboration has always been there. And as far as partnership is concerned, I think in the newer technologies, as newer technologies develop on the green hydrogen, green ammonia side, perhaps partnership will also starting to happen.
Fair enough. Next, Mr. Gupta, I have a couple of very generic questions for the benefit of viewers joining us from India and around the world. To begin with, what are the salient features of India's renewable energy policy?
So I think the most important feature, I believe, of India's renewable energy policy is our Prime Minister's vision, right? When in 2014, when he told everyone that we are going to be 175 gigawatts by 2022, we just couldn't believe our ears, right? At that time, India had maybe 5 or 10 gigawatts of capacity installed at that time. And there was this target in front of us of 175 gigawatts. So once the Prime Minister has expressed a vision of that sort, then, we as a nation, we sort of fall behind that vision and make sure that the policies reflect that vision, right? So over the years, and, in this 175 gigawatt number was in 22 upgraded to 500 gigawatt by 2030. Right. And also, when you look at the NDCs that India presented in 2015, right, the key NDCs in 2015 were met by 2019, 2020 already. And one was 40% capacity of renewable in the country, and the other one was a reduction of 33% of emissions from 2005 level by 2030. And at the COP26, we upgraded those NDCs, right? From 40%, we went to 50%. From 33%, we went to 45%. So this is the vision of our leader or of our leadership that has resulted in policies which are broadly supportive. So, for example, last year in 2023, 2024, we conducted almost 50 gigawatts of auctions, were conducted across the country, right? And that is something which is directly a result of the vision to get to 500 gigawatts by 2030. If we don't do 50 gigawatts, we can't get to 500, right? And we have seen that whatever we are doing, it's not enough. I mean, we need to do more. We are doing a lot, but we need to do more.
Indeed. Mr. Gupta, you spoke about India's policy and national plan to combat climate change and climate and clean energy as well. In that context, I have to ask you this before we wrap up this conversation. Can other countries learn from India government policies or Indian industries' best practices?
Oh, 100%. I think the way since the early days, I mean, I'm talking like 15, 17 years ago, right, when the standard bidding documents were prepared by the Ministry of Power. And then, when the first solar auctions started to happen, and then the wind auctions started to happen, by themselves, just the concept of reverse auction, this is just one small concept in the overall story, right? Of course, India has done tremendously on making sure there's a central grid. There is one country, one grid, which is not true of many, even large countries, developed countries. This doesn't exist. In India, there is, one grid, one frequency across the nation. The reverse auction by itself, even today, there are many countries that work on feed-in tariffs, right? And India literally never had feed-in tariffs for solar, and moved from a feed-in tariff regime to auction regime for wind also 7 years back, right? I mean, these small things also will make a huge difference to or any country that chooses to follow the path that India has followed, right? By standardizing policies, creating a regulatory framework that is consistent and dependable, and something that you can bank on, and therefore make sure that your debt cost is low, and therefore you can drive down your energy prices. So there is a lot to learn from the India journey.
Absolutely. On that, Mr. Gupta, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your thoughts and insights with our viewers at home and abroad. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
And still to come on DD India News Hour. Major landmarks across Europe illuminated in colours of the European Union to mark Europe Day.
In the world's largest election,
we help you feel the pulse of the nation.
I am Sakal Bhatt.
I am Shubhendu Ghosh.
This election season, join us on a journey of India.
We are in Assam. This is the tea city of India.
From down south, Tamil Nadu.
Discover the colors of democracy.
Gateway to northeast of India.
Coastal state of Kerala. Watch Poll Pulse on DD India.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. In some more international updates, Israeli forces began an operation in the central Gaza area of Zaytun, targeting Hamas's infrastructure. The operation commenced with a series of precise aerial strikes on about 25 targets.
The Israeli military confirmed it launched a new pinpoint raid in Gaza city Zaytun, which it says is aimed at continued dismantling of terror infrastructure and eliminating terrorists in the area. Its military said that the operation began with intelligence-based airstrikes, targeting and eliminating 25 Hamas targets, including military infrastructure, tunnels, observation posts, and sniper posts. Israeli ground troops are further operating to secure the area. Earlier, the Israeli Defense Forces said they had launched an operation in Rafah, a city located on the Gaza Strip's southern border with Egypt, to reportedly target Hamas. The IDF described its actions as a precise counter-terrorism operation to eliminate Hamas and its infrastructure. Meanwhile, US President Joe Biden said he will not supply counter-offensive weapons to Israel that it could use to launch an all-out assault on Rafah. And just after this, UK Foreign Secretary David Cameron described Britain's system and scale of arms exports to Israel as completely different from that of the United States.
On the issue of arms and Rafah and everything else, I'll make a number of points. First of all, I think there's a very fundamental difference between the US situation and the UK situation. The US is a massive state supplier of weapons to Israel. We do not have a UK government supply of weapons to Israel. We have a number of licenses, and I think our defense exports to Israel are responsible for significantly less than 1% of their total. So I think that is a big difference.
In the midst of all this, Israeli demonstrators blocked a road near the desert town of Mitzpe Ramon as they protested the delivery of 8 trucks into Gaza. Protesters held a sit-in protest as they scattered rocks across the road to prevent vehicles from passing. Drone video showed trucks as well as other vehicles lined up in traffic jams on a winding desert road. Rahul Upadhyay's report, DD India.
And my colleague Sarah Coates joins us from Tel Aviv for more. Sarah, the latest reports say that Israeli tanks and warplanes bombarded areas of Rafah. Israel also launched what it calls a targeted operation in central Gaza's Zaytun area. What more can you tell us?
Hello. Well, the Israeli military is calling this one a pinpoint raid designed to destroy Hamas infrastructure and eliminate Hamas terrorists. Now, we do not know exactly how large this raid could be or how long it will go on for, but certainly there is a lot of concern on the ground given that many people from Rafah who were evacuating were potentially moving back through this area. Now, I'll give you a little update on what's actually going on, what the military says is going on inside Rafah. They say that so far 10 gunmen have been killed, or 50 gunmen rather, sorry about that, and 10 tunnel shafts have been discovered, and they're now mapping them out for destruction. But certainly there is real fear growing on the ground due to the humanitarian situation. We do know that 2 of these real major land crossings that aid has been coming through, they do remain closed, no aid getting through there. But in saying that, the first ship that will actually dock at this US makeshift port that is now finished, that's actually left Cyprus, the port of Larnaca, and is now travelling toward Gaza. Still no timeline on when that will get there, but certainly a really devastating situation on the ground.
That said, Sarah, how does Israel view Biden's latest warning that he will halt US weapons shipments to Israel if Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu orders a large-scale operation in Rafah?
Well, Israeli officials are extremely concerned. What we do need to remember is that the United States is Israel's primary military backer, giving Israel some $3.8 billion worth of weapons every year. Now, the Israeli War Cabinet is meeting any moment now to discuss what to do next, with a lot of concern here in Israel as to just how this could affect the current military operation and the preparedness of the IDF going forward ahead of any other potential operations like, let's say, Lebanon. Now, there's really a lot of controversy today here in Israel after that interview that Biden gave US media. We've heard from the far-right National Security Minister, Itamar Ben-Gvir. He posted on X, "Hamas loves Biden." Now, the opposition leader, Yair Lapid, he is calling on Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister, to immediately sack Ben-Gvir, saying that he poses a risk to national security and every Israeli who lives there. So certainly a lot of concern as to what could happen with the stalling, with the pausing of these weapons shipments, and whether this will continue.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Sarah, thank you. Sarah Coates reporting there from Tel Aviv. And staying in the region, the annual investment meeting Congress concluded in Abu Dhabi on Thursday. The event showcased a diverse array of companies spanning trailblazers in futuristic transportation to cutting-edge medical technology startups. 35 Indian startups participated in the annual investment meeting 2024. Listen in to the CEO of the firm who participated in this meeting.
Government of India, many startups in medical technology space, and here we are in Abu Dhabi for annual investment meeting 2024. This gives the opportunity to our startups to stand in the global stage and present themselves and get the investment to their technologies.
In some more news from South Asia, India received more than $111 billion in remittances in 2022, marking a significant milestone for the country. Now, India is the first country to surpass the $100 billion threshold. This, according to the United Nations Migration Agency, called the International Organization for Migration. The World Migration Report 2024 shows that India was the top recipient of remittances in 2022, ahead of Mexico, China, the Philippines and France. Mexico received $61.1 billion, China $51 billion, the Philippines $38.05 billion and France received $30.04 billion. The report said that India is also the origin of the largest number of international migrants in the world, totaling 18 million. This influx of funds is largely driven by a significant number of migrant workers from South Asia. And India is the 13th most popular destination for immigrants, with 4.48 million people coming from other countries to live in India. And going back to the elections, all 17 assembly constituencies of the southern Indian state of Telangana will go to the polls on the 13th of May. The state is witnessing a fierce campaign by the BJP, the Congress and the regional political party called the Bharat Rashtra Samiti, with the star campaigners from all three political parties giving a final push ahead of the triangular contest in the state.
India's youngest state, Telangana, is getting geared up for the fourth phase of general elections. All the 17 constituencies of the state will be going to polls on the 13th of May, and the state is witnessing a triangular contest among the BJP, the Indian National Congress and the Bharatiya Rashtra Samiti, a regional force. As the election campaigns intensify, several star campaigners from political parties held rallies and roadshows in the state. Prime Minister held a rally on Wednesday in Arangal and Karimnagar of Telangana, where he attacked both the Congress and the BRS on the issue of corruption and politics of appeasement.
कांग्रेस और बीआरएस में कोई अंतर नहीं है. कांग्रेस और बीआरएस को कौन जोड़ता है? कांग्रेस और बीआरएस को करप्शन जोड़ता है. करप्शन कांग्रेस बीआरएस को जोड़ती है अपीजमेंट की पॉलिटिक्स.
Union Home Minister Amit Shah also held an election campaign in Telangana's Bongir, where he said that the BJP is set to win at least 10 out of the 17 Lok Sabha seats from the state.
इस बार तेलंगाना में हम 10 से ज्यादा सीटें जीतने वाले हैं.
From the Indian National Congress, former Congress President Rahul Gandhi, along with Telangana Chief Minister, held rallies in the state, intensifying attacks on the BJP.
देश की जनता के लिए, किसानों के लिए, मजदूरों के लिए नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने थोड़ा सा काम नहीं किया.
Meanwhile, from the BRS, former Chief Minister of the state, K. Chandrasekhar Rao, is campaigning in the state in a bid to regain the ground lost by the party in recent years. In the last general election of 2019, BRS won 9 seats, BJP 4 seats, INC 3 and AIMIM 1. BRS, which was earlier called the Telangana Rashtra Samiti or TRS, after 10 years of ruling the state, was ousted from power in the last legislative elections held in 2023, where the party was limited to only 39 out of the 119 seats. To only 34 seats out of the 119 seats, with the INC winning a majority of the 69 seats to form the government.
The campaigning for Telangana is in its last leg, with the BRS trying to regain the ground that it has lost in the state, the Congress party trying to repeat its performance of 2023 legislative elections, and the BJP trying to expand into the state and turn Telangana into its citadel in southern part of India. And it remains to be seen what the people of Telangana have in store for these political parties, which will be decided on 13th of May. In Hyderabad, Telangana, with camera person Ramakant Sharma, Akshay Dongre, DD India.
India's President Draupadi Murmu conferred the Padma Awards during a civil investiture ceremony in New Delhi on Thursday. Veteran actors Vaijayanti Mala Bali and Chiranjeevi were conferred with the Padma Vibhushan in the field of art. Media veteran Hormuzji N. Kama received the Padma Bhushan in the field of literature and education journalism. The President also conferred the Padma Bhushan on Satyabrata Mukherjee posthumously in the field of public affairs. Listen in to what media veteran Hormuzji N. Kama said after receiving the Padma Bhushan.
Been in this line for the last 40 odd years, and I'm happy that the government has recognized my contribution to Indian languages, basically Gujarati, and I have tried my best to promote the language. You know, we organize book fairs, we organize books for children, we organize Gujarati plays, so that the language remains vibrant. Honorable Prime Minister made a special trip to Bombay to release a stamp on our bicentenary, which was very nice.
The India-UAE SEPA Council on Thursday signed an MOU with the Indian Chamber of Commerce to bolster economic and trade ties between the UAE and India. In February 2022, India became the first country with which the UAE signed a comprehensive economic partnership agreement. Major landmarks across Europe were illuminated in colours of the European Union to mark Europe Day on Wednesday night. Held on the 9th of May every year, Europe Day celebrates peace and unity in Europe, and this year also comes a month before EU elections to be held between the 6th and the 9th of June. The European Union said that Europe Day marks the anniversary of the historic Schuman Declaration, a proposal considered to be the beginning of the bloc. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of DD India News Up. For those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. You can scan the QR code on the screen now to download it. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X and Instagram. You can also check out our website ddindia.co.in. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. From all of us here in New Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.